Oh, hey. Standing out here by the dumpster, I see. It's garbage day. You might ask, Eric, do you recycle? And I would say, well, actually, it all goes to the same place anyway. So, no, I don't. But nobody likes the well, actually guy, you know. Hey, they made 3,000 Plymouth Roadrunners in 1969. Well, actually, they made 3,165, and 1,021 of those were convertibles. I just made all of that numbers up. It's the well, actually guys are literally yelling at me right now, telling me the real numbers. Well, actually, so yeah, don't be the well, actually guy. Nobody likes that guy. I don't mean nobody likes him. He's a likable guy, but nobody likes it when the well, actually guy well actuallys. So, just saying. Okay. I am going to go in. You're welcome to come in there with me. We are going to actually do some work. Do a little bit of work on Mr. Roadrunner. Do a little bit of work on Mr.E. Who knows what else other work we'll do. I've got a few days this week. You would think I'm out of town all the time. Actually, I'm not, but these last few weeks is just, it's just the time of year, whatever. It's, you know, well, actually I'm not, so. All right, let's go see what fun we can have today. I know I'm gonna have some. It's really nice out. Okay, just figured I'd show you real quick. Got the door handles on, but as you can see, not working. The other side does work, but I'll show you why this side isn't. Okay. Actually, I need a light. You know, my eyes aren't what they used to be. I need a light. Now your eyes aren't what they used to be either. How do you like that? Anyway, I don't know, you know, I don't even know why I do things. Okay, so let's spin you around here. The other door is not apart, or I'd be able to show you, but if you remember last week, I think it was last week. Well, here, let me pull this out because I got to. Okay. I just want to kind of line it up a little bit better. It's not lined up completely right now, but you'll be able to see. So you see the rod that's sticking up right here. That connects to this. This is the new latch. If you remember the old latch, it was like welded on here or something. So I ground it off, got it out of there. But there is a clip that is supposed to slide over top of this bar here that locks this ball in place. So right now, if I slam the door, this rod falls off and then the latch doesn't work. So I've got that ordered. I feel like that's the theme of this project. It's on order. But it's really what, you know, it's the fun of working on old cars. You dig into something and something else completely unrelated needs to be addressed. And so you need a part for it that you didn't order because you didn't know. So anyway, that's not a big deal. The clip will come in the mail maybe next week, slide it on there, and then I can put the door panel back on and it's done. So, and I won't walk over there. You saw what I was doing. I was just getting ready for the parts that I'm also waiting on for that. In the meantime, speaking of parts, how about this? The sway bar, bushing, and whatever, mounting kit and links, you know, they're here. So these are those brackets that mount in the stock location, and then this is where the new bushing, the U-shaped pieces mount, and it's super easy, and it's serviceable, and it's not that hard to change out bushings after that, should these wear out, whenever they will, which probably at the rate this car will be driven is not in my lifetime. Or maybe, I don't know, rubber degradation, 10 years, maybe you want to do it again, 20 years, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna jump back into this. I just wanted to quick show you my new waiting for parts moment. That should be a moment. We'll make that a moment from now on. This is a moment brought to you by Waiting for Parts. Okay. Real quick, I got the car on the ground, and you saw me take the sending unit out of the fuel tank. I was adjusting or tweaking a little bit to try to get the fuel gauge to read closer. We'll see. I'll get it out and test drive it. I'm not sure how much fuel is in the tank, so basically I was putting a little bit deeper bend in the float arm so that it would show more full. We'll see if it, or what kind of difference it made. I'm sure it made a difference. I just don't know. I don't know how full the tank is. So, what else? Oh yeah, got the front sway bar in, and then well, you weren't here. I wrestled the felt into the window run channel, which is the one that was actually broken and laying in the bottom of the door here, covered in cardboard and duct tape. And also it was broken, so you can see here, they had it welded together by a couple spot welds. I drilled those spot welds out and used a polylock nut on the back, so it won't back off. And it also helps to hold this in on the bottom, as well as a couple of, well, they're not rivets, but basically you push them in from this side. I don't even know if you'll be able to see them. Hang on a second, let's see if I can show them to you. Let's see, oh yeah, there you can kind of see that one a little tiny bit. Not really. Well, it's because there it is. See? Wow, wasn't that worth it to see that little glimmer? Yeah. Wait for it. Sure glad you did. Anyway, and you just pound it flat on this side to kind of mushroom it out, and it keeps this from sliding in the channel or just staying in the channel. It's doubtful it would slide because it is such a difficulty to get it. You have to use liberal amounts of lubrication to get it even to slide in the groove and stay. So, but it's in there. So I'm going to install that in the door, and then I'll put the glass back in. So we've got the replacement front run felt attached to the glass, and the upstop that puts on there will do all that, and then we'll slide that in, and then we'll put the window felt in. I won't be able to close the door up after that because I still need that clip, but that's a 15-minute job, you know, to button that up. No biggie. Well, as you can see, we had a change of plans, as per usual, but we'll just roll with it. I didn't test after I put the hardware in here. I didn't test fit it. My memory served that there was space between the back of this and the trailing edge of the door, because there is down here. There's a gap. But there isn't. So that hardware sticking out was totally interfering. So I just took the polylock nuts off. Well, just look. Why are we at a distance here? I know I showered this morning. Just come over here. So you can see I've got, I just left the hardware in there and welded it in place and then ground it off, and I'll spritz a little paint on the bare metal parts there so they don't rust. Yeah, or coat them with oil or whatever. Yeah, anyway, this is just a little, I'm just showing you what happened. So you didn't think, hey, I could do that on my Roadrunner, just put hardware, it's broken. Well, you can't. There's no room. So in the, I don't know what I'm trying to say, in the arena of full disclosure, I don't know. Some people don't want to know how the sausage is made. They just want to eat the sausage. I understand that. If that's you, then hanging out in the shop with me is probably not a good idea. So, because I'm going to show you how the sausage is made, and sometimes it involves a little blood, and sometimes it involves a little grinding and welding and making things work. So that's it. I just figured I'd tell you that real quick before I dive back into it, like I was just about to do before I couldn't because of we've been through it. So, all right, let's go. Well, that pretty much wraps up the Roadrunner. We got disc brake conversion, a brake booster installed instead of just the manual brakes. Replaced the clutch, the throwout bearing, the pilot bearing, and well, what in the world am I trying to think of? Oh yeah, the front seal on the front of the transmission, shocks all the way around, front sway bar bushings, front sway bar end link bushings. We installed a rear sway bar where one never existed. Did a couple ball joints on the front. Put new clips in the shifter linkage, adjusted on the fuel gauge, and all new door handles on the outside, and all new, basically everything new in the door, in the windows and seals and runners and everything. So, I can't test drive it. Because of the two things. The one thing being that actuator rod clip for the driver's side door handle. I'm waiting on that to come in. That won't be until next week. And then I keep talking to you about the clutch linkage thing. I'm just going to show you real quick what I'm talking about. The clip that I'm missing also won't come in until next week. The car is done. It just needs to be test driven. Make sure everything's working. But without that clip in the clutch linkage, I could end up without a clutch while I'm driving, you know, a dead pedal. Probably not the best idea. But let me just show you what I'm talking about. If we can get a look at it. If you look at the clutch pedal, well, you probably can't see it actually. Yeah, right there, where the rod, let's see if I can set this light to do light things, where this rod here comes up and it just sets on this, whatever, you know, thing that it sets on. And there's supposed to be a clip right on the top here that slides down and keeps this rod from popping off this clutch pedal. So if I'm driving along and using the clutch and that pops off, well, now I have no clutch. I have no way to change gears. And, you know, there might be momentary panic. And, you know, We don't need that, do we? No. So we're wrapping it up on this car. If I'm able to do a test drive next week, I'll take you along. But for now, this is, whoops. This is goodbye to the Roadrunner. So I say that. You and I both know that there's a strong possibility that when I test drive it, maybe there's a little leak in a brake line fitting that didn't get tightened, or an adjustment here or there, you know. But for all practical intents and purposes, I've always wanted to say that, we're done. So where we're moving from here, we're gonna segue, camera guy. I had to use my other camera guy because my first camera guy was getting tired. I am going to walk over here. Oh, have you met Mr.E? I don't know if you've ever seen him before, but this is a 1969 Chevelle with a 454 LSX motor and a 6-speed, wow, this camera guy is bad too, 6-speed manual transmission, where we have installed hydro boost brakes and a engine wiring. We still have to finish mounting this. We've installed all the AC lines, all the heater lines, the radiator and coolant lines, and you know, we're almost done. Okay, that was a complete lie. We're not almost done. We've almost begun. That's what's happening. So this is going to be a fun project this summer. And I am going to take those headers off the floor, and we're gonna start seeing what we gotta do to make them fit. If you remember, this piece of the frame right here, let's get the camera guy down there so you can get a better view of it. That's in the way. So if I need to notch it out a little bit, I might do that. If I need to adjust, you know, with an adjustment tool, the headers, I will do that, or maybe a combination of both. So stay tuned. It's gonna be full of excitement. Okay, I've totally been putting it off. Let's get to it. Oh, well, it looks like you finally decided to, you know, get out of your chair and come see what I'm doing. Great. Well, I'm happy to show you because I don't want to be doing it. So anything to distract me from doing it is, you know, it's a bonus. It's great. So I'm fitting the headers. Why don't you just come over here and look? It's not great in my opinion. So maybe you want to weigh in. I don't know. So let's look at this side first. So I trimmed out a little bit off of this. Now this is really thick plate. and it acts as a support for this rod, which is gusseted for the lower control arm. So this kind of locates the lower control arm. It's not taking the full weight because all of this tied in does, but it is important. I think it's overbuilt enough to where we can remove some material and it'll be structurally fine. So you can see that, well, I don't know. If you look up there, I'm still like, I don't know, I'd consider that a 1/4 inch that it needs to come down. Well, as you can see, if it comes down a 1/4 inch more, we're not going to really have any header left. I've adjusted on that one quite a bit, and even with this clearance and that clearance, it's just not going to work. This header, it just won't work. Now, you might be asking, on a build like this, why would you put smashed headers in? Well, there's a couple of ideas, and I don't actually, since I can't use these headers, this has simply been an exercise as to whether I can or not. The deal is, sorry, my cameraman's getting tired. I gotta switch up. They're union, you know, so they gotta share. Anyway, so I don't know if you've ever seen Engine Masters, Steve Burley, David Freiberger, those guys. They did a test one time to see how much horsepower loss you got out of smashing headers. You know, it's a hot rodder thing to do. You can't always build exactly the headers you want, so you just clearance them a little bit. What they found out is you could smash them almost all the way with no loss of horsepower. For some reason, it didn't affect it. I'm not saying you squished them flat, but you know, like I'm doing here. So from a horsepower standpoint, it's not a concern. From a artistic visual standpoint, it isn't actually something you'd even be able to see from the top. So looking in the engine bay, you'd never know they were smashed. You'd have to get up under the car, which this car is like 1/2 inch off the ground. You'd never see it. So that's one philosophy. I can't build headers. Like someone, if we want this very artistic, someone is going to have to spend hours, which hours is money. It's a lot of money, to cut and paste essentially. Even a set of headers, maybe these headers in particular, you know, it's not easy, but it can be done. People do it. And the builder of this car, or the owner of this car, didn't want that expense. These headers came with it. He's hoping to make them work, but we're going to have a meeting because I don't think they're going to work. So my plan right now is to, this is about what I cut off the other side, and I've already test fitted the other headers. They're definitely not going to work. I got to snip this off like I did over there. We don't need all of that. And I'll clearance this a little bit because we're going to have to, at some point, they're going to have to be clearanced. You can even see like this, it's not a very good angle, but this is actually pointing up into the floor and needs to come down and can't come down. There's just no, I would have to just delete all of this, which of course, that's not practical. It's just better, we need to get headers that work. So I'm gonna clearance this. I'm way off on this set of headers, but I'm gonna get as close as I can. And then I'm gonna have a meeting, hopefully next week with the owner to decide kind of what he wants to do. So, yeah, I got to leave out of town tomorrow. So I still have to pack. I still have to finish some things around the house before I go. So I'm going to close out this week. And you know, instead of my witty conversation for you to enjoy, that's witty. I don't know if you could hear the verbal air quotes that I just gave there, but in case you didn't, I verbally talked about the verbal air quotes just for you, because I know it helps. We'll just close out this episode with me continuing to cut away at the frame there, and then we'll see you next week. Basically, the shop will not have changed the next time you show up, because it's when it's going to start. So anyway, thank you for being here. You've left some very nice comments and very encouraging things in the comments that, yeah, they're very meaningful to me, and I truly enjoy having you here. So hope to see you next time. If not, you know, hopefully you're working on your own project and just didn't have time. So yeah, well, I'm gonna cut to cutting. Yeah, it's great. Have a great week.